And Aurora, this is our fourth lesson. And today we're going to be talking about the Constitution of the United States, which we talked about last week. And today we're going to be talking about amendments to the Constitution. So, does anybody know what the Constitution does? Why it was written? It was written to define the government and also to protect the rights of individuals. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, these amendments that were added to the Constitution to protect the rights of individuals. Okay, do you have papers, Aurora?
Yes, I have it.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I have a question. Can I keep a mute during all your presentation, or can I get unmuted?
Probably better if you were unmuted because, when you want to make replies, it's easier.
All right.
Okay.
Nobody is disturbing here. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's good. If it gets disturbing there, then you can mute.
Mm-hmm.
So we're on this page, the Bill of Rights and other amendments. Can you see that good there? Can you see that? Okay. The Founding Fathers wrote the Constitution in 1787. Now, Aurora, can you say that with me?
The Founding Fathers wrote the Constitution in 1787.
You're very fast.
Oh, thank you.
They wanted a living document. They wanted a living document.
They wanted a living document.
This means the Constitution can change with the country. This means the
Constitutions can change with the country.
A change to the Constitution is called an amendment. A change
to the Constitution is called an amendment.
In 1791, a list of 10 amendments was added. In
1791, a list of 10 amendments was added.
So I'm just going to go off the paper for a second. So the Constitution was written in 1787, and in 1791, 4 years later, they added the first 10 amendments. Okay, now I'm going to say it, and I want you to repeat it with me, okay? The first 10
amendment to the Constitution are called the Bill of Rights.
The Bill
of Rights talks about individual rights.
Over the years,
more amendments were added. Now the Constitution has 27 amendments.
Okay, now we're going to write on the papers where it says new words. Okay, so the first one is rights. And rights are something allowed by law. Something allowed by law. Okay. Are we ready for the next one?
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Amendment. A change to the Constitution. A change to the Constitution. You have that up there?
As you were speaking, I put a couple of them.
Suzanne, scoot over a little bit so she can see the full spelling of Constitution.
She's not looking, but
Okay. Oh, for the other people that are on, that look at it later.
right, that's right. Okay, the next one is Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments. The Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments. And individual means each person. Individual, each person. Okay, now we're going to talk about the First Amendment on the next page. The First Amendment has most of the rights, it has 5 of them. So it is a very important amendment. The First Amendment is in the Bill of Rights. The First Amendment is in the Bill of Rights. Americans often talk about the First Amendment. Americans often
talks about the First Amendment.
The First Amendment protects individual rights or freedoms. The First
Amendment protects individual rights or freedoms.
These rights are for everyone living in the United States. These
rights are for everyone living in the United States.
The rights or freedoms from the First Amendment are the rights or freedoms from the
First Amendment are
freedom of religion. You can practice. Freedom of religion. You can practice any religion or you can practice no religion. Freedom of religion. You can practice any religion or you can
practice no religion.
Freedom of speech. You can
freedom of speech.
You can say what you want about public problems. Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. You can say what you want about the public problems.
Freedom of assembly. You can meet peacefully to talk about problems and ideas. Freedom of
assembly. You can meet peacefully to talk about problems and ideas.
Freedom of the press. The government cannot control what people write in newspapers and the media. Freedom of
the press. The government cannot control what people write in newspaper and the media.
Freedom to petition the government. You can ask the government to change laws. Freedom to petition
the government. You can ask
the
government to change laws.
Okay, so let's just talk about these a little bit, okay? So first of all, when our country was first colonized by the British, they wanted people to be either Quakers or Congregationalists or different religions. So when our forefathers put our Constitution together, they said, no, you don't have to follow anybody else's religion. You have to follow whatever religion you want to follow. And if you don't want to belong to a church or follow a religion, you don't have to. Now, freedom of speech. That means we can be critical of our government. We can say, you know, this is not working. This would be better this way. We want a change, you know, and we can say it publicly. And then if we want to get together with other people, we have freedom of assembly to have a march or have a demonstration to talk about what we believe would be better for the country or for our town or whatever area of government we want to talk about. Now, freedom of the press is very important. In some countries, the government controls the newspapers, and the only thing that people hear is what the government wants them to hear. But in the United States, we have freedom of the press. So the press can write what they discover to be the truth. They can't write things that aren't true, so sometimes they do, but they're supposed to tell the truth. And then finally, freedom to petition the government. So if there's something in the government or our laws that you think is not fair or not good for the people, you can write to your congressman or your senators, you can write to the president, you can write to all sorts of people and tell them your views. So there are 5 freedoms in the First Amendment. Now you have to know one of them, okay? Now, I have a picture here that's the same as the picture that is, can you see that, Julietta?
Yes, I can.
Okay. And this is Bobby Kennedy, which I know you're probably too young to remember him, but he was the brother of President John Kennedy, and he was running to be the president himself when he himself was assassinated, just like his brother John was assassinated. But in this picture, that's kind of beside the point. In this picture, he is exercising his right for freedom of speech. He can say what he wants.
Yeah.
And also freedom of assembly, because he has all those people there that are listening to him. Have some more pictures. Okay. This is upside down. In this picture, you see the little lady in the middle? She's surrounded
You're gonna
by
have to hold it a little higher.
higher. Okay.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay. She's surrounded by newspapers, and people can buy any of the newspapers they want. They can buy papers that are written in English. They can buy papers that are written in other languages, and they can buy papers that are on the left or the right, and they're allowed to publish them, and then people are allowed to read them. Now, this one is freedom of religion. And this is interesting because it says people were outside a synagogue on Yom Kippur around the year 1900. So that's like 120 years ago. And the people were able to go to church or go to synagogue, actually, and to worship God in their own way, just as everyone in the United States has that same freedom. Okay. Now, this is a picture from the textile workers who were in a Labor Day parade in Estonia, North Carolina. And these people were, again, yes, freedom of assembly. I was trying to put it in the word. Okay. So this is another example of freedom of assembly. And then finally, we have the women who were fighting for the right to vote. 100 years ago in 1920, women were finally able to vote. But before that time, they had many, many years of marches and different kinds of peaceful assemblies to let men know that they were able to vote too. Okay, now we're going to be talking about that later again, because we're going to be talking about who can vote. Originally, young people could vote were white men. And usually they had to own some property. So they had to be, kind of on the richer side of things. Okay, now, I want to make sure I'm going. Okay, next page is the a word search, and it's about the First Amendment. Okay, so let's look at the words in the word bank. Okay, first we read the directions. Find these words in the puzzle. The words go straight down or right across from left to right. Sometimes in word searches they're more complicated, but this one's pretty simple as far as finding them. Okay, you circle the word when you find it. So the first word in the word bank is speech. And you see here, speech is circled, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so the rest of them, we'll just read the words, and then afterwards, I think the easiest thing to do is to cross out the word in the word bank when you find it in the puzzle. Circle in the puzzle, then go back and cross it out. Okay, so the words going down are change, petition, say, first, right, press, laws, religion, amendment, right, and meet. Okay, we'll give you a couple minutes to do that, okay? Oh, funny, there's somebody else wants to get in. Amelia.
You know,
No, how do I do it?
have to go down here. Maybe.
She probably gave up. How you doing, Aurora? So we can just hold this up.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Gives them
Gives me
something to
something to
do.
do.
Well, gives Aurora time.
Yeah, almost done. I need to finish a meat. I couldn't find a meat, but that's okay. Look at this. I did it.
Wow, you did a good job.
I
Okay,
needed to find a meat only. That's it.
you can find meat, M-E-E-T.
Me,
Yeah, let me see. I already got it. I got it.
You got it?
got
Yeah.
it.
Yes, sometimes you look at it, another time you look at
Yes. Sometimes the word is in front of my eyes. I never see them.
it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so these are all important words when we think about the First Amendment. And everybody who lives in the United States has the same rights. Freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom to petition the government, freedom of religion, and I forgot one. Anyway, I always do that. Anyway, everybody has those rights. Okay, now we're going to go to page 4, and it is 4 amendments on voting. Four amendments on voting. The original Constitution did not say who could vote. The original
Constitution did not say who could vote.
Over the years, amendments were added to the Constitution about voting rights. Over the
years, amendments were added to the Constitution about the voting rights.
So the Constitution didn't say who could vote, but everybody assumed it was those white men who could vote. If you weren't white, and if you weren't a man, then you weren't able to vote. They also assumed they had to be 21 to vote. There are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. There are
4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote.
So the first one they wrote was the 13th. A male citizen of any race can vote. A male
citizen of any race can vote.
I don't think that was the 13th, never mind. It was around there, but not the 13th. Any citizen can vote. Women and men can vote. Any
citizen can vote. Women and men can vote.
You don't have to pay to vote. You don't
have to pay to vote.
Some states used to have a tax. They called it a poll tax that people had to pay, so that only the richer people were able to vote. Citizens 18 and older can vote. Citizens
18 and older can vote.
Okay, as I said before, for a long time, people had to be 21 to vote. And then around the time of the Vietnam War, when a lot of young men, 17, 18, 19-year-olds were going to war, they said, we're old enough to carry a gun and defend our country, so we should have the right to vote. So that's when that amendment was changed. Today, every citizen 18 and older has the right to vote. Today,
every USA citizen 18 and older has the right to vote.
Voting in a federal election is one right only for U.S. citizens. Voting in a federal
election is one right only for U.S. citizens.
So when you become a citizen, you'll be able to vote, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's look at the pictures. Here we have a young woman voting in the 1964 presidential election in Washington, D.C. So, and over on this side, we have the National League of Women Voters in 1924. So 4 years after women got the vote, they had a League of Women Voters, and it's still in existence today. And they help people to know. Okay, we're going to do more writing, but this time we're going to read the sentence, find the mistake, and write the sentence correctly. Just for the sake of time, we're not going to write the whole sentence. We're going to read the sentence, we're going to correct the sentence verbally, and then we're going to cross out the word that's wrong and write the right word underneath. Okay? There are 6 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. Which word in that sentence is wrong?
2.
I'm sorry. Of all the words in the sentence that are written here, which one's the wrong one? The word 6, okay? So how many amendments to the Constitution about who can vote are there?
Oh, it's a question.
Yeah, it's like a question.
Wow.
That's okay. Okay, it's just, so we want to correct each of the sentences to make them correct, okay?
Yeah.
So instead of saying 6 amendments to the Constitution, we're going to say there are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. But just cross out the word 6 and underneath write 4. Let me see, Mike. You understand what I mean, Aurora?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do number 2. Freedom of religion means you cannot practice any religion. Freedom of religion means you cannot practice any religion. Now, what word is wrong?
Freedom of religion means you can practice any religion.
Very good. So we're going to cross
Yes,
out
we're going to cross out a not.
cannot, right? Okay. Number 3, every U.S. citizen 21 and older can vote. Every U.S. citizen 21 and older can vote.
Every U.S. citizens 18 and older can vote.
Very good. Very good. Number 4, going to university is one right only for U.S. citizens. Going to university is one right only for U.S. citizens. Of course, people can go to university without being a U.S. citizen, right? So what is the one right that only U.S. citizens have? And that's voting in a federal election. They're going to cross out going to university.
It's not.
What? I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. It's going to university is
It's wrong.
is wrong.
Yeah, because this is saying that only US citizens can go to the university. And that's not true, right? So what
But
we
this is for everyone. Oh, I can understand. Well, you can help.
Okay, we're going to cross out going to university and write voting in a federal election. Voting in a federal election. Honey. Voting in a federal election. Federal means for that something is going to be for the whole country. Like this, Tuesday we're going to have the presidential election. Okay, that's a federal election. We're voting for a representative to Congress. That's federal.
I know the number 5.
Oh, good. Do you want to read it?
Well, let me read it.
Okay.
The first 10 amendments are called the Declaration of Independence. Thus, the right answer is the first 10 amendments are called the Bill of the Rights.
Excellent. Excellent.
Right.
Very good. First
I have a little problem to express, okay, to say some words, but I'm trying to make the best.
I'm very impressed with your
First
command.
amendment.
Very good. Okay, number 6. An amendment is an introduction to the Constitution. An amendment is an introduction to the Constitution. Okay, it's not an introduction, it's a change. An amendment is a change to the Constitution.
Yeah. Amendment is a change, right?
Mm-hmm. Is a change to the Constitution. Okay, number 7. The Constitution has 31 amendments.
I know that one.
I know you do. Go ahead.
The Constitution has 27 amendments.
Very good. Very good. 27. Okay. Now on the next page, we're going to write the word amendment. And first time you write more, you keep writing less and less as you go along. Okay.
Mhm.
And then on the bottom, what is an amendment? A change to the Constitution. So you write that out. That's important because during your interview, they'll ask you to write a sentence. And that could be the sentence they ask you to write.
Ya, deja servir.
Yeah, on that same page, there's a little square here, or not even square, but anyway. That shows part of the 20th Amendment. And just an example of what amendment is. But in this amendment, it's saying that the president can only have 2 terms of office. Before that, Franklin Delano Roosevelt had 4 terms of office.
Wow.
Yeah. So then they said, this isn't really a good idea. Up until that time, everybody had 2 terms. And then Franklin Delano Roosevelt had the 4. He died in office, so he didn't complete 4, but he was elected 4 times. And so they passed an amendment saying that the president could only have 2 terms. So that was after the 19th Amendment, which was the women had the right to vote, got the right to vote in the 19th Amendment. And as I said before, that was 100 years ago this year. So there's a lot of celebrations about that. And now not only are women allowed to vote, but women run for office. And women have been governors and mayors. And even now we have a woman who's running to be the vice president of the United States. So we've come a long way, baby. Okay, now we're going to go over the questions. Okay, first, we're going to go over the ones that we learned about today. And then we're going to go over the ones that we had in the previous weeks. So if you don't know any of them, it's okay, you will later, okay? So first question, what is an amendment? Let me say that again. What is an amendment?
It's a change. It's a change of our Constitution.
Right, very good, very good.
I'm sorry. Where can I see the question you are making? What page?
Oh,
We don't have them on a page.
Okay.
Did you get the folder? Did you get the, it's probably in the front of that folder.
Yes, it's Bill of Rights and other amendments, lesson answer key. I don't know, is that but that's okay. That's okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, so if you haven't gotten a list of the 100 questions, then you can get them from Amelia. Okay.
Well, the 100 question I have, there's a really old, I don't know if they are updated. Yes.
Well, it depends on how really old they are.
well,
Yes, it's from maybe when my husband made his citizenship. I don't know.
The only change would be who is the president.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Otherwise, all the laws haven't changed since then.
yeah,
Okay.
the only things that will change are the ones that were elected to federal office.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes, I have all this one question is from long time ago.
What year was it? Remember?
No.
Well, we'll make sure you get new ones because they did change,
Okay.
not because the laws changed, but because,
Yeah, I know.
you know, what they think is important, you know?
Mhm.
Okay, so for now, it's just a question of listening. And if you know the answer, you can say it. If you don't, I'll say it. We'll go on, okay? Is that all right, Aurora?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do we call the first 10 amendments to the Constitution?
The bill
The Bill
Bill
of
of
Rights.
of right.
Bill
Yeah.
of Rights, okay? And see there, it's on that old paper. And it says,
Mhm.
what is one right or freedom from the First Amendment? And we talked about 5 of them. You just have to tell us one.
Freedom.
Freedom of
Religion.
Religion, very good. Okay, and I have them down here as freedom of speech, religion, assembly, press, and petition the government. Okay, so any one of those five. How many amendments does the Constitution have? We know you know this one.
27, yeah. 27 amendments.
Right, okay. What is freedom of religion?
Practice the religion you want.
Okay, you can practice
Do you
any
want
religion and
any
no-
religion you want?
Right, that's right. Okay. You can practice any religion or you can practice no religion. You're free to do.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you did it right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. There are 4 amendments to the Constitution about who can vote. Describe one of them.
One is when the women can vote.
Yeah, that's one of them.
Right. Both men and women are allowed to vote. So another is citizens 18 and older can vote.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay a poll tax to vote. Any citizen can vote, men or women. A male citizen of any race can vote.
But are you asking only mention one, or they can ask in 4 of them when they make the questions?
You only have to say one.
Okay.
You only have to say one of them. Okay.
So you said women can vote. That was a good answer.
Yeah.
Name one right only for U.S. citizens. It was on that last page before we started to write.
Yes. You told me something about that, but I forgot.
That's okay. Okay,
Yeah.
voting in a federal election. Okay, only United States citizens can vote in a federal election.
Oh, okay.
What are 2 rights of everyone living in the United States? So these would be the same rights from the First Amendment. Okay, there's 2 of them.
And of the speech,
Freedom of
and
speech.
freedom of speech, and another freedom of press, of the press.
Right.
Maybe another one is freedom of the petition of the government.
Very good. Very good. Okay, that's 3. You're doing great. How old do citizens have to be to vote for president?
18 years old.
18 and older, right?
Oh, yeah, 18 and older.
Okay, now we're going to do questions that we've had in the previous week. So if you don't know any of them, that's okay. What is the supreme law of the land?
No, I don't know anything about those, but we're gonna practice.
Okay. What is the supreme law of the land? It's the Constitution. Okay, so today we talked about the amendments to the Constitution. So the Constitution itself is the supreme law of the land, and that includes the amendments, which are part of the Constitution now. So what does the Constitution do? The Constitution sets up the government or defines the government, and it protects the basic rights of Americans. And that is what we talked about today, the basic rights that are included in the Bill of Rights. The idea of self-government is in the first 3 words of the Constitution. What are these words? Really big. At the very beginning of the Constitution, they're written very big. First 3 words are, we the people. We the people. So it's not the king, or it's not even the president or the Congress. It's we the people who are in charge of the government. Name one branch or part of the government. Okay, the government has three branches. There's the executive, which is led by the president. There's the Congress, or the legislative branch. And there is the judicial, which is the courts. And the main one is the Supreme Court.
Can you repeat it please?
Sure.
Is the Supreme Court?
Okay, the Supreme Court is part of the judicial branch, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The executive branch is headed by the president. The legislative branch is the Congress. They're the ones that make the law.
Congress.
Mhm. You only have to name one of them. What stops one branch of government from becoming too powerful? It's a system called checks and balances, okay, or separation of powers. So the three branches can check each other, make sure that they don't get too much power or they're not doing the wrong thing. What happened at the Constitutional Convention? It's so obvious that none of us know the answer to this until we hear it. They wrote the Constitution. Okay, the founding fathers wrote the Constitution. When was the Constitution written? This is important to remember. There's only 2 dates you have to remember. And the Constitution was written in 1787. 1787. The Federalist Papers supported the passage of the U.S. Constitution. Name one of the writers. Okay. There was 3 writers. They were James Madison, Alexander Hamilton, and John Jay. And together they went by the name Publius. Okay. It was kind of like anonymous at the time.
Oh, I need to practice. I need to review your first lesson, the 3 lessons, right? I lost that. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry.
Because this is really interested in I'm a little sorry about it. I lost that, but I have all the information. I think we can see your videos later.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What is one thing that Benjamin Franklin is famous for? Benjamin Franklin, here, I'm going to show you his picture here. There in the middle. He was a diplomat to France during the Revolutionary War. So he went over to convince the French that they should help us in the war against England. And so he was very, very important because he did that. That's the easiest thing most people say. Now look here, there's a whole list of things that he did. But to just say that he was a diplomat is the easiest and, to me, the most important. I can read you the other things if you want. He was the oldest member of the Constitutional Convention. He was the first Postmaster General of the United States. He was the writer of Poor Richard's Almanac. He started the first free libraries. I think he did more too. He invented bifocals.
And the Franklin stove.
And the Franklin stove. A very brilliant man. So this picture was called Franklin's Return to Philadelphia. He came back after he helped to convince the French to be on our side. And it was because the French were on our side that we ultimately won the Revolutionary War. What is the rule of law? And the rule of law is the idea that everybody has to follow the law. Nobody's above the law just because you're the president or you're the chief of police or you're the governor or whatever. You still have to follow the law. Okay, so that's what the rule of law is. What territory did the United States buy from France in 1803? And that was Louisiana Territory. And here's a picture of it. Okay. Over here is the original United States after the Revolutionary War. Excuse me, I'm sorry. And then this big pinkish section here is what we bought from France. So our country more than doubled with the Louisiana Purchase. And that was when Jefferson was the president in 1803. What did the Declaration of Independence do? Okay, the Declaration of Independence declared our independence from Great Britain. Okay, so see these three men in the picture? Okay, we have John Adams and Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. And they were formed a committee. They were supposed to write the Declaration. But when see how all the papers are written on the
Yeah, we can see.
I had a hard time figuring out the wording. So, but Thomas Jefferson seemed to have the best ideas. So they said to him, why don't you just write the whole thing? So Thomas Jefferson is considered to be the writer of the Declaration of Independence. Now, there are 3 rights listed in the Declaration of Independence. You're supposed to be able to name 2 of them. Okay. And they are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. P-U-R-S-U-I-T.
P-U-R?
P-U-R. Why did the colonists fight the British? So why did we even start the Revolutionary War? And mainly it was because of high taxes, but there was other reasons too. They also did not like the soldiers coming in and staying in their houses, probably taking all the best beds too. And they didn't have any say in anything. They didn't have self-government. So those are the reasons. You don't have to say one of them, okay? Usually people say high taxes. Who wrote the Declaration of Independence? That was Thomas Jefferson. When was the Declaration of Independence adopted? This is the other date we have to remember, and this one you have to remember the month, the day, and the year. So it's July 4th, 1776. July 4th, 1776. A picture of all the men that worked on the Declaration of Independence and signed it. There were 13 original states. Name 3.
The colonies. The colonies.
There were the colonies, but what were 3 colonies that eventually became the states?
We don't know. I don't know.
Where do you live? Where do
Texas? I'm living in Texas. I don't know.
You live in Texas. Well, no,
Yes.
that's not one of them.
I'm so far of you. I don't know where you are.
We're in Pennsylvania. That's where I
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. That's okay. So anyway, one of them is Pennsylvania. Another
Oh,
one,
okay.
okay, we have here, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia.
Okay.
So you can see on this map how they're all on the eastern side of the United States. Now here's the easiest question of all. What is the name of the president of the United States now?
Well, it was Donald Trump.
Yeah.
This
Will
is
he-
a
Will he
Yeah.
be, after the election, if the Republicans win, will he still be the president? It's the trick question. Will he be the president next week on Wednesday?
well, we don't know who is gonna be the president for next week.
Okay.
Trick question.
What I meant was, whether he wins or he loses on Tuesday, he will still be the president until January.
Till
That's-
noon of January.
Oh, my goodness.
That's when we have the inauguration of the new president.
Okay, and then the election day is gonna be the 3rd, November 3rd, but officially they're gonna make all the duties in the next year in
Yes.
January.
Right. In fact,
Okay.
I think that was part of that 20th Amendment. They
Oh,
changed
okay.
it to January 20th.
Sorry, sometimes I make stupid questions. I couldn't hear you. I had a bad connection. That's better.
Oh, okay. Who is the father of our country? And that is George Washington. Okay. He was the commander of the military during the Revolutionary War, and he was also the first president, which is the next question. Who is the first president? And the answer is George Washington. And here he is in a boat during the Revolutionary War when he was going to surprise the British and do a surprise attack. Okay. Name 2 national holidays.
Thanksgiving
Yes, very good.
and July 4th.
Right, very good. Okay, we have 10 of them. So they are New Year's Day, Martin
Oh.
Luther King Day. You can say any of these, but your 2 are good. President's Day, Memorial Day, Independence Day, Labor Day, Christmas Day, Veterans Day. Oh, I read that wrong. It was Columbus Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Name 1 state that borders Mexico.
Texas. Yeah. What? Yeah, Texas.
And the others, of course, are New Mexico and, oh, no, I forgot. Arizona and California.
Mm-hmm.
What is the capital of the United States?
Washington.
Washington, D.C. Okay, so do you have any questions for us?